All right, so today we're going to be diving into Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill.
Oh, yeah, this is a great one.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people know him from Think and Grow Rich,
Right.
but this one's a little bit different.
Yeah, a little bit darker, I would say. Like
Yeah,
almost a psychological thriller about success and failure.
and uh, it uses this wild conversation with the devil as like a framework for the whole thing.
And it's a really interesting way to frame it, I think, because he doesn't shy away from the darker aspects of achievement.
Yeah.
You know, the things that hold us back, the little devils that kind of lurk in our minds and our environments.
So let's get to the heart of it.
Okay.
Hill keeps talking about this idea of drifting.
Yeah.
What exactly does he mean by that, and why is it so dangerous?
Well, he describes it as a lack of clear direction in life.
Okay.
And it's not just about not having goals, you know?
Oh, right.
It's about letting circumstances dictate your choices,
Hmm.
becoming a pawn in the game of life
Mm.
rather than the player.
Oh, I see.
And the devil, in his analogy, thrives on this.
Right.
He says he controls 98% of people
98%.
because they're essentially sleepwalking through life,
Wow.
allowing themselves to be swayed by whatever comes their way.
Yeah, that's a pretty bleak statistic, but it really makes you think
Yeah.
how many of us are just reacting to life instead of consciously choosing our path.
I think that's the core question Hill wants us to ask ourselves.
Yeah.
And to illustrate this, he shares stories about himself and his own struggles with drifting.
Oh, so it's not just some abstract concept.
Yeah.
He actually lived this.
Yeah, he talks about how he bounced around, from one opportunity to another,
Right.
especially in business, almost falling prey to that same lack of direction that he warns against.
Wow, so that really hits home.
Yeah.
But here's what I'm curious about.
Okay.
How do we break free from this drifting state?
Yeah.
I mean, Hill talks about definiteness of purpose,
Yes.
but is that all it takes?
Well, that's the foundation. But he introduces this other idea called hypnotic rhythm
Okay.
to explain how we get stuck in those drifting patterns.
Right.
He argues that our environment and habits constantly shape our thoughts and actions,
Yeah.
often on a subconscious level.
Okay.
It's like our brains are on autopilot, absorbing the beliefs and behaviors of the people we spend the most time with.
So it's not just about what we consciously choose, but also about the things that influence us that we're not even aware of.
Yeah, and it's a little unsettling when you think about it.
That is.
And that's why Hill is so adamant about taking control of our environment.
I see.
He uses the example of Samuel Insull.
Oh, yeah, I think I remember reading about him.
Yeah, he was a very successful businessman.
Didn't he get caught up in some bad investments during the Depression?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
But Hill attributes his downfall partly to his associations.
Oh.
He surrounded himself with people who flattered him
Right.
and distracted him from his core purpose, which ultimately contributed to his decline.
So it's almost like he was hypnotized by this negative influence.
Exactly.
He lost sight of his goals and got caught up in the wrong crowd.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Hill contrasts this with Henry Ford, who actually thrived during the same depression.
Right.
Ford had laser focus and unwavering commitment to his vision.
Okay.
He didn't allow himself to be swayed by external circumstances or negative influences.
So that's a really powerful comparison.
Yes.
It highlights the difference between reacting to life and consciously shaping your destiny.
Right.
But let's get back to definiteness of purpose.
Okay.
What does that actually look like in practice?
Well, it's not just having a vague desire for success.
Okay.
It's about having a burning passion for something specific,
Right.
meaningful,
Okay.
a vision so clear that it drives your actions.
So it's not enough to just say, I want to be rich.
Yeah.
It's about defining what wealth and success actually mean to you
Exactly.
and having a plan to achieve it.
That's a great way to put it. Hill uses the example of Franklin D. Roosevelt and his approach to the Great Depression.
Okay.
Initially, FDR was completely focused on restoring faith and ending fear.
Right.
He had a purpose,
Yeah.
a plan,
Mm.
and the nation rallied behind him.
But didn't he face some criticism later on in his presidency?
He did.
Yeah, I remember reading about some of his policies being met with resistance.
That's true.
Okay.
And what Hill observed was that as Roosevelt achieved some success, he started to lose that sharp focus.
Oh, so he started to drift a bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
He began trying to please everyone.
Right.
His purpose got diluted,
I see.
and his effectiveness diminished.
So even someone as accomplished as FDR wasn't immune to losing sight of his definiteness of purpose.
Exactly. It's a constant battle.
Oh.
Even when we achieve success, we can't get complacent.
Yeah.
We need to constantly reevaluate our goals, our actions, and our environment to make sure we're still on track,
Right.
still aligned with our deepest purpose.
That's a very sobering thought, but also incredibly motivating.
Yeah,
It highlights how important it is to stay vigilant
absolutely.
and take ownership of your choices.
I agree.
So if definiteness of purpose is the foundation for outwitting the devil,
Yes.
what are the other key principles that Hill lays out?
Well, he outlined 7 in total, and they each act as a weapon against a certain devilish influence.
Okay.
We've already talked about definiteness of purpose, which combats drifting.
Right.
But there's also mastery over self, which helps us overcome things like procrastination and self-doubt.
Okay.
Learning from adversity, which allows us to transform failures into stepping stones.
Right.
Controlling environmental influence, which we've discussed in relation to hypnotic rhythm.
Okay, hold on. This is a lot to unpack.
It is.
Let's break down each of these principles one by one
Okay.
and really explore how they help us to outwit the devil.
Let's do it.
All right.
I'm ready when you are. Okay, so mastery over self is about conquering those inner demons, the ones that sabotage our efforts.
Right, like procrastination.
Exactly. The voices of fear and procrastination that keep us from taking action.
So it's about building that inner strength
Yes.
and discipline
Yes.
to stay focused.
To stay focused even when things get tough.
Exactly.
He'll believe that our minds are like gardens,
Okay.
and we have the power to choose what we cultivate.
Right.
We can either let the weeds of fear and doubt take over,
Yeah.
or we can consciously plant the seeds of courage, self-belief, and resilience.
And how do we cultivate those positive qualities?
Well, it takes conscious effort
Okay.
and practice.
Okay.
He talks about the importance of setting clear goals,
Right.
breaking them down into smaller steps,
Okay.
and then taking consistent action,
Right.
even when we don't feel like it.
Even when we don't feel like it.
Yeah.
So it's about building those positive habits and routines
Absolutely.
that support our goals.
Yes.
Rather than letting ourselves get derailed by distractions
Exactly.
and impulse.
Precisely. And this ties into the next principle, learning from adversity.
Oh, yeah.
Hill was adamant that failure is not the opposite of success.
Okay.
It's a stepping stone to it.
I love that perspective.
Yeah,
It takes the sting out of failure.
it does.
It makes it less about defeat and more about growth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He believed that every setback, every mistake, every challenge contains valuable lessons
Oh, wow.
that can propel us forward if we're willing to learn from them.
Right.
He encourages us to embrace those lessons,
Yeah.
to analyze what went wrong, and to figure out how we can do better next time.
So it's turning those failures into wisdom and
Yeah.
to fuel for future success.
Exactly.
But let's be honest, it's not always easy to do that.
No, it's not.
Sometimes those setbacks can really shake our confidence.
They can.
And that's where the principle of controlling environmental influence comes in.
Yes, very important.
Hill believed that our environment plays a huge role in shaping our beliefs, our attitudes, and our behaviors.
A massive role.
He famously said, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with."
A very powerful quote.
Oh, that one always makes me take a hard look at my inner circle.
Yeah,
It's a reminder that we need to be mindful of the company we keep
absolutely.
and the influences we allow into our lives.
He wasn't suggesting that we cut off everyone who isn't perfectly aligned with our goals,
Right.
but he did emphasize the importance of surrounding ourselves with people who inspire us,
Right.
who support us,
Yeah.
and who challenge us to grow.
So it's about being intentional about who we let into our lives,
Absolutely.
recognizing that our environment can either uplift us or drag us down.
Yes, and it's not just about the people we surround ourselves with.
Right.
It's also about the information we consume, the media we engage with,
Right.
even the physical spaces we inhabit.
So it's about creating an environment that supports our goals and our well-being,
Exactly.
both internally and externally.
Yeah.
But even with the right environment, we still have to manage that most precious resource.
Right.
What's Hill's take on time management?
Cool. He saw time as a double-edged sword.
Oh, okay.
It can be our greatest ally or our worst enemy,
Wow.
depending on how we wield it.
Right.
He observed that most people waste time on trivial matters,
Right.
allowing their days to be filled with distractions and busyness, ultimately serving the devil's agenda of keeping them from reaching their full potential.
So it's like being busy but not productive,
Exactly.
going through the motions,
Yes.
but not actually moving towards anything meaningful.
Exactly. Hill believed that successful people are masters of time management.
Oh, okay.
They're intentional about how they spend their hours and minutes.
Right.
They prioritize their goals and ruthlessly eliminate time wasters.
Okay.
They understand that time is a finite resource and must be treated with respect.
So it's not about working harder, it's about working smarter. It's about focusing our energy on the activities that truly align with our definiteness of purpose.
And it's about recognizing that great achievements take time.
Right?
He uses the analogy of planting a seed.
Okay.
You can't expect a mighty oak to sprout overnight.
Right.
It takes time, nurturing consistent effort for that seed to grow
Yeah.
into its full potential.
Right.
Patience and persistence are key.
That's such a powerful metaphor.
Yeah.
It reminds us that success is a journey.
Yes.
It's not a destination.
Not a destination.
But it's easy to get discouraged when we don't see immediate results.
I know.
Right.
That's why he emphasizes the importance of having faith in the process,
Okay.
trusting that consistent effort over time will yield results.
So it's about staying committed to our vision,
Absolutely.
even when the going gets tough.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
about outwitting the devil's temptation to give up too soon,
Right.
to fall back into that comfortable numbness of drifting.
Right. Okay, we've covered definiteness of purpose mastery over self-learning, from adversity controlling environmental influence and time management.
Right.
What about those last two principles? Harmony and caution.
Okay, well, Harmony in Hill's framework is about aligning our actions with our values and beliefs.
So it's about living in integrity,
Yes.
being true to ourselves,
Yes.
and ensuring that our pursuits are in harmony with our deepest sense of purpose.
And it's about building harmonious relationships with others
Right.
based on mutual respect, trust, and support.
Right.
He believed that strong relationships are essential for success, both personally and professionally.
Yeah, that makes sense.
He encouraged collaboration, teamwork, and the creation of win-win scenarios.
We can achieve so much more when we work together,
Absolutely.
when we leverage the collective wisdom and support of others.
Right.
But what about caution?
Oh,
Doesn't that seem a bit at odds with taking risks and pursuing ambitious goals?
well, Hill was a big advocate for caution, but he was careful to distinguish it from fear. He saw caution as a form of wisdom, a way of anticipating potential challenges,
Okay.
assessing risks, and making informed decisions.
So it's about being strategic,
Yes.
thoughtful,
Yes.
and deliberate in our actions.
Yes, rather than impulsive or reckless.
So it's about thinking things through,
Yes.
weighing the potential consequences,
Uh-huh.
and making choices that are aligned with our long-term goals and values.
Absolutely. It's about protecting ourselves and our resources from unnecessary risk.
It's about being selective about who and what we allow into our lives.
Right.
Guarding our time, our energy, and our focus.
Yes.
It's about recognizing that not all opportunities are created equal.
That's right.
And sometimes saying no is the most empowering choice we can make.
That's a great insight. And it leads us to one of the most powerful and perhaps counterintuitive aspects of Hill's philosophy.
Okay.
The idea that sometimes being selfish is not only acceptable but necessary for achieving true success.
Like selfish.
Yeah.
That goes against everything we're taught about being kind and considerate.
Yeah. I know it sounds strange.
How can being selfish possibly be a good thing?
Well, Phil believed that true selfishness lies in neglecting our own potential,
Okay.
in failing to cultivate our talents and pursue our passions.
Right.
He argued that when we prioritize our own growth and development, we become more capable of contributing to the world in a meaningful way.
So it's not about being self-centered
No.
or disregarding the needs of others.
No.
It's about recognizing that we have a responsibility to ourselves to become the best versions of ourselves
Exactly.
so that we can then make a greater impact on the world.
Exactly. It's about understanding that self-care is not selfish. It's essential.
Okay.
It's about filling our own cups so that we can then overflow and share our abundance with others.
I like that that's a powerful reframing of selfishness.
It is.
It takes away the negative connotation and turns it into something positive and empowering.
Exactly. And it ties into Hill's emphasis on definiteness of purpose.
Yeah.
When we have a clear vision for our lives.
Right.
When we're passionate about our pursuits.
Mm-hmm.
And when we're committed to our own growth.
Yeah.
That energy naturally radiates outwards, inspiring and uplifting others.
So it's not an either proposition.
No.
We can be both successful and selfless,
Yes.
ambitious and compassionate.
Absolutely.
It's about finding that balance,
Yeah.
that harmony between pursuing our own goals and contributing to the well-being of others.
That's the beauty of Hill's work.
Yeah.
He provides a framework for achieving success that encompasses not just the material aspects, but also the spiritual and ethical dimensions.
I see.
He reminds us that true success is holistic.
Okay.
It's about aligning our actions with our values,
Right.
and it's about using our gifts to make a positive difference in the world.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
We've explored the 7 principles of outwitting the devil. Definiteness of purpose mastery over self, learning from adversity, controlling environmental influence, time, harmony, and caution.
That's a lot.
But it's one thing to understand these principles intellectually. It's another to actually put them into practice.
That's where the rubber meets the road.
Right.
And Hill doesn't leave us hanging.
Okay.
He provides specific techniques and strategies for cultivating these principles in our daily lives, for transforming our thinking and our actions, and for ultimately outwitting the devil in all his forms.
I'm ready to hear more.
Okay.
Let's dive into those practical tools and techniques and see how we can apply them to our own lives. Give us the goods.
All right. Let's do it.
All right, so Hill gives us these principles, but how do we actually use them in our lives? Like, what are some tangible things we can start doing to, like, outwit the devil and reach our goals?
Well, one technique he emphasizes repeatedly is autosuggestion,
Auto-suggestion.
which might sound a little woo-woo, but it's actually rooted in psychology.
Is that like affirmations? I've heard of those, but
It's similar.
I'm not sure I really buy into all that manifesting stuff.
Yeah, Hill takes it a step further.
Okay.
He was fascinated by the power of the subconscious mind, and he believed that by consistently feeding it positive messages, we can reprogram our thinking and behavior.
So it's not just about thinking positive thoughts. It's about, like, imprinting those thoughts on a deeper level, almost like rewiring our brains.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Hill suggests writing down our goals and aspirations
Okay.
as if they've already been achieved,
Okay.
using vivid language and imagery.
Okay.
And then we read these statements aloud daily,
Mm.
visualizing ourselves in that successful state, feeling the emotions as if it were real.
So it's a combination of focus, thought repetition, and emotional engagement. Almost like creating a self-fulfilling prophecy by convincing our subconscious mind that success is inevitable.
Precisely. Hill believed that this technique, combined with consistent action, can unleash incredible potential within us.
Okay.
He saw autosuggestion as a way to overcome self-doubt, build confidence, and attract the resources and opportunities we need.
Okay, I'm willing to give it a try. But what about those times when we face setbacks? How do we apply Hill's principle of learning from adversity, when we're feeling discouraged or defeated?
Well, Hills believed that every adversity, every failure, every challenge contains a hidden seed of opportunity.
Okay.
So instead of dwelling on what went wrong,
Yeah.
he encourages us to ask ourselves, what can I learn from this?
Right.
What did I do well?
Okay.
What could I have done differently?
Mm-hmm.
How can this experience make me stronger and wiser?
So it's about shifting our perspective, seeing those setbacks not as roadblocks, but as detours that can ultimately lead us to a better destination.
Exactly. And it's about taking ownership of our choices.
Okay.
Hill was a big believer in personal responsibility.
Yeah.
He said, blame no one but yourself for your failures and credit no one but yourself for your successes.
That's powerful. It's about taking control of our narrative, recognizing that we have the power to shape our own destiny, even when things don't go according to plan.
Exactly. And it's about seeking feedback from others. Hill believed that constructive criticism can be incredibly valuable,
Yeah.
helping us to see our blind spots and identify areas for improvement.
Right.
He encouraged us to surround ourselves with people who will challenge us, hold us accountable, and support our growth.
That reminds me of his concept of the mastermind group.
Yes.
What exactly is that, and how does it fit into his framework?
Well, a mastermind group is a group of like-minded individuals who come together to support each other's goals and aspirations.
Okay.
Hill believed that the collective wisdom, experience, and energy of such a group can amplify individual efforts and accelerate success.
So it's like having a team of advisors,
Yeah.
mentors, and cheerleaders all rolled into one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He suggested finding people who share our values and goals,
Okay.
meeting regularly to brainstorm ideas, share resources, provide encouragement, and hold each other accountable.
So it's about recognizing that we don't have to go it alone.
Right.
We can achieve so much more when we collaborate, when we leverage the power of collective intelligence and support.
And it's about surrounding ourselves with positive energy.
Okay.
Hill believed that our thoughts and beliefs have a powerful influence on our reality.
Right.
So by surrounding ourselves with people who believe in us, who encourage us, and who hold a positive vision for the future,
Yeah.
we create an environment that supports our growth and attracts success.
So we've got auto-suggestion, learning from adversity, taking responsibility, and cultivating a mastermind group.
Yes.
These are some pretty powerful tools for outwitting the devil and achieving our goals, but it all comes back to that core principle, definiteness of purpose.
Absolutely. He'll believe that without a clear vision, without a burning desire, without a compelling why driving us forward,
Right.
all the techniques and strategies in the world won't make much difference.
It's like having a powerful engine but no steering wheel. We might have all the potential in the world,
Right.
but without a clear direction, we'll just end up spinning our wheels.
Hill's work is a reminder that success is not just about luck or talent. It's about mindset habits and conscious choices. It's about understanding the forces at play within us and around us,
Yeah.
and then leveraging those forces to create the lives we desire.
It's about recognizing that we are not victims of circumstance. We
Exactly.
have the power to choose our thoughts, our actions, and ultimately our destiny.
He'll believe that every single one of us has the potential for greatness, but it's up to us to choose to tap into that potential, to outwit the devil of negativity and self-doubt, and to embrace the path of definiteness of purpose and conscious action.
Well, Hill's Outwitting the Devil offers a treasure trove of practical wisdom for navigating the challenges and opportunities of life, and we encourage you to dive deeper into his work and discover how you can apply these principles to your own journey.
Remember, the power to shape your destiny lies within you. Choose wisely, and may your path be filled with purpose, meaning, and success.